going on, world? It's your boy Kuya. This is Nerds Rule the World, and we are here with the Wandering Planet Toys creators, a bunch of fellow amazing nerds. I've got my man Doc Wyatt coming back after we talked Essentials, which you should still go pick up. It's amazing. I love that book. And obviously, as you see him on the screen, you know him from Transformers and the upcoming Gundam, a lot of different projects, the amazing Gavin Hignight. How are you, gentlemen?
Doing great.
Good.
Thank you for having us. This is awesome.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Back on.
It's a pleasure to speak with fellow nerds because one of the things I loved when I saw this promotional press release. I can't even talk tonight. It's late. It's a Friday. But when
it's Friday 13th, by the way. Yeah. So
and yes, and the 13th. When I saw this press release, I was like, hold on. Doc Wyatt, I know him from Essentials. And then Gavin, I know this guy because I love the content you've both worked on.
Oh,
and
thank you.
I love both of your bodies of work. And then when I read about Wandering Planet in just, a bunch of animation procedures by day, you have your day gigs, but you're nerds and you want to create toys that you love. And I was like, I got to talk to these guys because that's what I'm all about. You know what I'm saying? Let's celebrate our fandom. And,
totally.
There's these toys now that you're coming out with. You have the Nancy Drews, but Laurel and Hardy, these are things that we need to bring back out to the people. And if you never got it, now you're going to get it. And
totally.
It's an honor and a pleasure to speak with you both. Let's start there. Let's start with Laurel and Hardy. I think I was in that generation that still kind of knows about it. I'm an 80s baby. It was there, but I don't know too much, but when I went back, because I'm a film head, I was like, oh yeah, love these guys. When did you both discover Laurel and Hardy? If we can start there. Let me go with you, Doc, since you just came in.
I mean, I don't remember a time before I knew who Laurel and Hardy was. They'd run after cartoons on the UHF channel that I grew up watching in Atlanta, Georgia. I remember my dad laughing at Laurel and Hardy. I mean, I don't remember learning who they are. I just only remember knowing who they are.
I feel that. Yeah. And they were just on and you tuned in because you were sitting with your parents, right? How about you, Gavin?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm similar to Doc that I don't remember discovering them. They were just always there. They were always part of kind of like the media landscape, of our youth. I didn't really catch them on TV. For me, it was about hunting them down on VHS. And I just pulled this book off my shelf. I've had this book since I was about 12 years old. And I was going to look for when this thing was published. But it was when other kids were, I don't know, being normal, I was scouring through this book, trying to figure out which Laurel and Hardys I hadn't seen or were yet to have seen. And, flash forward all these years later, we get to make the toys. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, lifelong fan for all obvious reasons. They're timeless and they're hilarious and they really stand up.
I completely agree. As a film nerd, I think is what also pulled me in even more. It was Three Stooges. It was Laurel and Hardy. It was the black and white stuff because you had to be able to talk and get things across with the meager means that they had. They didn't have special effects and all that, right? So what they had to do on black and white cinema was just amazing. So
and they came out of vaudeville. Like Stan actually worked with Chaplin. Stan and Chaplin were part of the same theater troupe. They toured the US and were roommates together in New York, in an apartment building where they weren't allowed to. They were up on the top floor of the apartment building, and food was all the way down to the bottom floor, and they didn't feel like going down all the time. So they would cook bacon on their radiator, which was illegal. So to cover the noise and the smell, they would open the window and Chaplin would play violin while Laurel cooked bacon. So yeah, I mean, they came from that vaudeville tradition that that all of that Harold Lloyd, that Charlie Chaplin, that all of those sort of first generation of filmmakers. I mean, the first ever generation of filmmakers came from, and they were putting together the language of visual storytelling, and and in their case, comedy storytelling from
scratch,
of the screen. From the language of the stage. They were using vaudeville routines. You look at something like Country Hospital, which has got this insane routine where Hardy is on the bed and like Laurel is like messing with the different, like unintentionally messing with all the different settings on the bed, and it's like, this is just comedy gold. Like, this is just universal.
Yeah, and I'll add to that, they are very unique in that they did silent, and they were huge, and they somehow were able to translate into the talkies and to sound, where most of the people who were, you know, as popular as they were in the silent era weren't really able to cross over. Not very many people crossed over like they did. So their career is so unique.
Definitely. And if you're a film nerd like myself, you studied, and if you love the medium like you should know this. And if not, go dive into it.
Totally.
And it'll be amazing, delighted. It's just so good. But now, thankful to you guys, we're also going to get them as toys, which is going to be so fun to put them next to the rest of our toys on our shelves. It's fun to do this as an older adult, and it's becoming more acceptable as well now. So
I hope.
And if they don't like it, whatever, we're here, we're enjoying it.
Yeah.
So tell me about bringing these guys into articulated form, and you have a campaign coming up very soon. I don't know if I can spoil it, so I don't want to give it away, but I know you're going to start the campaign soon to get these.
Yeah. So we're about a week away. So depending on when people watch this, we'll just say roughly around the 17th of September. And, you know, we, like you, we're nerds. We like our toys, but we're also really big, you know, cinema heads. We love film. And it's with all the toys we've done, there's always this, are fans of this also toy collectors? You know, there's always that little micro gamble. And on Nancy Drew and on The Prisoner, it turned out not to be a gamble. It was true. You know, there are lifelong Prisoner fans who wanted to celebrate their love with action figures. Same with Nancy Drew. And Doc and I, knowing how much we want these figures on our shelf, we can assume there are other folks out there who want the same.
I got to ask you both now, and let me throw it to you now, Doc. As nerdy collectors, choosing the designs of these, the looks, the articulation, the accessories, how nerdy do you guys get?
Well, I mean, it's for this particular set, we went micro nerdy. I mean, what we've done in the past is the 4-inch scale, which is like, it's a little bit smaller. You can pack in detail, but not quite as much facial detail. These are full, like 6-inch figures, and they are fully articulated. So we've got the posing. I mean, in many ways, these guys wouldn't have worked in that 4-inch format because they're so physical. Like, all of their comedy is so physical, and you don't want to put them on the shelf and have them be static. Like, you want to put them on the shelf and you want to tell a story with how they're posed. Like, you want to get them into a routine. Like, and so we just had to kind of take the deluxe course with this, which is different from the figures we've done in the past. So there was a lot of learning that we had to do to go into it. I mean, Gavin knew sort of this scale way better than I did, but like the joints and the level of molding, it's a different territory to be in, but I'm, you know, feel very rewarded that we did, because when you get these figures and you're able to kind of move them around and pose them and photograph them, you're going to really enjoy how deluxe they are.
Yeah, and there's a real kind of deep cut aspect because we're fans, and so we know, right? Like, for instance, you know, you can pop out an interchangeable hands, you know, like a Marvel Legends figure or like a Star Wars Black Series, you know, they're in that kind of zone. And, you know, for instance, there's the flaming thumb bit that's, you know, in a couple of their films where Stan can make his, you know, it's like a Bic lighter at the tip of his thumb. We're like, well, let's give Stan a optional flaming thumb. So you can pop out a hand and put in the flaming thumb hand. Stan comes with, my favorite accessory is a bag of hard-boiled eggs and nuts, which, you know, to most people would be like, what are you even talking about? But to a Laurel and Hardy fan, instant laughter, because you know that short and you know the absurdity of it. So you can have Stan holding that little paper bag. It's, you know, we went deep. We also took great care to design the heads in which, because one thing that's a pet peeve of mine as a toy collector is a helmet or a hat that doesn't look right on someone's head. And often, a toy to work, like the hat would be oversized or it wouldn't look like it did on screen. And we really wanted these two gentlemen to be screen accurate, as they say. So what we did is we actually molded hair and hat as one piece, and it's swappable. So it's like, do you want Stan with his crazy hair? Put it on, or pop off the hair and put on the hair and hat combo. And that, I think, really lent to them looking like they do on screen. But then also their hats, anyone who's a fan knows, are props for them. They use them constantly for comedy. So we also include just a bowler hat accessory that, you could pose Stan and Ollie with their hair in and different facial expressions, and you could have them holding the hat, or the hat being destroyed in countless ways, like their films. So we really, really dug deep on detail on these, and it's very satisfying, even down to which ties they're wearing, the design on the ties. We really, and like I said, just out of our love for it. And we know from The Prisoner, and we know from Nancy Drew, that people who nerd out on this stuff, they nerd out on the details. So if you don't get the details right, they'll know and they'll tell you.
That's exactly what I wanted to say. Like, the level of dedication is so important for us as fans. And I love that from you guys, that you're putting that in there. Like, I'm curious how long it took you to go like approval on paints, color schemes, just and like you're saying, you wanted from this episode or that episode, that just level of dedication is nerd approved right there, and what we want.
Appreciate it. Yeah, and we're there. And like Doc and I, the thing I think that makes Wandering Planet what it is we are that. We are the fans. At the end of the day, we want these on our toy shelf, and we know what we love and don't love about all the various things we've collected. So we get it.
I can't wait. And I can't wait. I don't know if you guys follow like these other toy collectors that do, that create like dioramas, and then they set it all up. Like, I love that stuff. I'm sure we're going to be seeing the Avengers with Laurel and Hardy soon.
I hope.
Once they drop, it'll be awesome.
Absolutely. And that's, once again, we go for matte finish on a lot of our toys. So they photograph and look like the real thing versus a toy of the real thing. You do matte, or you do gloss for a few things like eyes maybe, or something that's intentionally shiny like a shoe. But, their suits are not going to look like plastic. They're going to look like suits. And I can't wait. One of the biggest joys for me is, because I'm like an amateur toy photographer, I have fun, but my mind is blown just scrolling through Instagram. So I can't wait to see what a talented toy photographer does with these things. And I think, I don't know if we mentioned, but speaking of this silver age of cinema, we're doing them in color and black and white. So there will be black and white figures sitting on the shelf. You can choose. Yeah.
That's going to be really cool. So basically through this campaign, they can kind of pre-purchase the figures and all of that. And is there like how long it's going to run or anything like that we can just add more?
Yeah, Doc can give them the details.
We're right. The way our crowdfund works, and this is the way we've done it on toys we've crowdfunded in the past, is that you, in essence, pre-order the figure, you back the campaign, which in essence reserves you that slot of the figure, right? And we then, at the end of the campaign, this campaign will be up we're 30-day campaign, right, Gavin?
Yes, sir.
But we're a 30-day campaign starting next week, and you order what you want. We go to the factory, we manufacture the orders, and that's how we get started. So this kind of crowdfund will take a while. Like, figures aren't going to come a week after the campaign closes. We've got a timeline that's months, and it's based on the Chinese factory, and it's all articulated in the campaign. But it gets you your figures as soon as they're available.
And I'll add to that one thing that's real. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no worries.
One thing that we're really excited about is we've positioned, because it does, it's like we can't do niche, specialized collectible figures like this without the pre-order process and without fans stepping up and helping us. We just can't do it because of the way how expensive manufacturing is. But what's cool is, we know how long it takes us now. And we've timed it to where, unless there's like a global pandemic or a shipping crisis or some of the stuff we have dealt with in the past, these figures will deliver in time for the Laurel and Hardy 100th anniversary next year. So how cool will that be when all the amateur Laurel and Hardy fans are just saying, "Oh, cool," and all the hardcore ones are in the mail getting their 6-inch action figures. So
I love it. Well, gentlemen, thank you both for your time. Again, I was already a fan of you both from your work.
Oh, thank you.
Now I am a super fan of Wandering Planet because the knowledge that I now have behind it, you guys are nerds, you're nerd official, you're all about the details and everything. And it's fabulous. You love to see that. You love to support companies that are that passionate about the product that they're putting out. So
we feel the same way. Thank you. Yeah, and we feel the same way. You know, Doc and I are no stranger to throwing our money at Kickstarters for cool stuff we like. It's just, that's where we're at now. It's a neat place.
I love it. So everybody, I'm going to have the links in the description below for the campaign once it's ready to drop. But you need to follow Wandering Planet Toys. All of the links will be in the description. Show love to Doc Wyatt and Gavin Hignight. Such a pleasure talking to you both.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, man.
Thanks so much, man. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.
Definitely. There you go, y'all. Your boy Kuya P. Nerds rule the world. All right, there's a cut, guys.